Hi guys, hi, good evening to one and all guys. I welcome all of you to Essentials 2.0, and this is Node.js 0 to Hero Day 1 program. So once again guys, hi everyone, good evening from my side. So let's see who all are there in the comment section today. So chill will okay, hi Vinod, hi Priyanka, hi gaming, okay, great. So hi Bala, hi Yash, hi published the okay something some name great name. Sagar, hi Preeti. Hello everyone. Hi, good evening, guys. So hello and hi from Let's Upgrade to one and all, guys. I hope you had a lovely day, and we are here to make your evening also exciting. Okay, so before we get into the topic and all, so I'll bring in your instructor and all, but before that, I just want to do a quick chit chat with you all, guys. So let me just interact with you all. I'll be making some announcement for the entire batch of this class. Okay, then I'll be just going in the backend, and it would be just you and your instructor. Okay, right? So, guys, can you all please mention your places right here in this comment? So it would be like great. We just want to see like from what all places are people are watching this session. So I'm in Odisha right now. I'm Odisha, Bhubaneswar to be very specific. So hello everyone from Odisha, Bhubaneswar to one and all. Can you all please mention your places here? Yep, I've started seeing your places. Tamil Nadu, Vadodara, Vellore, Indore, Jharkhand, Chennai. Great. Thank you for joining, guys. Warangal, Chandigarh again, Kanpur, Bihar, Pune, Tamil Nadu again, Mumbai, Bangalore, Vellore again, Mumbai again, Maharashtra. Great, Telangana. Great, Mumbai, Nashik, Tamil Nadu, Madurai, Sri Lanka. Great. So we have people from Sri Lanka. Hi, Jay Prabhakar. Thanks for joining. Someone from Singapore, DevOps. Thank you for joining. I welcome you all. Uh, so Uttarakhand, Maharashtra again, Navi Mumbai, Tamil Nadu, Mukanam. Great. I don't know Tamil. No, I'm not a Tamilian, so I don't know Tamil. So I know only English, Hindi, and my own native language, that is Odia. Okay, so but I'm keen on learning Tamil. Actually, I'm trying to learn it because I love the language. So let's see. Okay, great. So I again once again, guys. So hi everyone, those who joined right now. Hi from my side, and good evening to one and all. So we are talking about your Node.js 0 to Hero program. This is day one, guys. I welcome everyone to this program. So I'll just quickly announce few things, and I'll bring in your instructor, and I'll just go back to the backstage, and you would continue with the courses. Okay. So guys, a very more very important announcement. So you have this certification kinds, right? You have two types of certification this time. So one is a participation certificate and one is the completion certificate. So if you attend all the like 2+1 session, like we have this session Saturday Sunday, 2 hours each, total 4 hours of Node.js course, and one more session would be there for career and placement guidance session. Okay, so if you attend all these 2+1 3 sessions and put attendance for these sessions, you'll be eligible for participation certificate. Okay, along with that, if you also submit the assignments or maybe project, whatever your instructor would give you, if you submit all those things, then you would be eligible for completion certificate. And the certificate would be like all the certificate are from like Let's Upgrade, ITM group of institutions, NSDC, and Skill India, guys. Okay, so I'm very delighted to announce this to all of you. Those who would be eligible for completion certificate, guys, you would be getting it you'd be getting a physical copy of it. Okay, you'll be getting a physical copy of it. So to send physical copy, it takes some time, guys. So you would require you to give us some time for that, because we would be sending you physical copy of certificate. Also, as the evaluation method is not an exam and it is like assignment and project, so it would take thousands of assignment and submissions will be getting. So we would also need some more time to review all those stuff. Okay, so just you need to be patient about that, and it's for sure you'll be getting all the certificates and all. Okay, right? So participation certificate, only attending the classes and putting attendance for all the 3 sessions. Completion certificate, who will get, if you along with putting attendance for all the session, you would if you would submit all the assignment and project, then you'll be eligible for a physical copy of completion certificate. Okay, I hope I'm very clear. and where to put attendance, where to submit assignment and all, guys. So guys, for those stuff, you can always check the video description. All the necessary links are there in the video description. First of all, if you have not registered for the course, you can check the description, guys. There is a registered registration link. Do register for the course right now, right away. Okay, and there is a community group link. Please join the community group link, guys, because in that community group link you'll get all the assignment posted. Also materials for the class would be posted in the same community group link. Do check it out. Okay, then third, you'll find also assignment submission form link. So just you can submit all your assignment there in that form. If you check out that form, you'll get all the necessary information how to submit and all. There's a video there in the embedded in the form, guys. You can check it out. And there is also attendance form link where you can put attendance for the sessions. Okay, that's it. That's the whole thing, guys. Whenever you watch the session, you can just check out the video description. Sorry, my bad. You can check the video description and just fill the attendance and submit your assignment. So your deadline for all the assignment, whatever assignment would be given in these 2 days, 20 and 29, you'll get 3 more days as the deadline, guys. Okay, 3 more days as the deadline. Like 28, 29 is the class, so you'll get 30, 31st, and 1st of September. By 1st of September midnight, you have to submit all the assignments. That would be the criteria. After that, you won't be able to submit your assignments. Yeah, that's it. Like, this is what I had to make this announcement, guys. Do check out the community group link, because that is where you'll get your assignments and material posted. Also, you can discuss something with other fellow members of the same community, or the other members of the same class, same batch. Okay, it's all about learn, build, grow, and share, guys. That's what our notion is. That's what our DNA is. So let's follow this and let's help each other out in growing together. Okay, so I'm basically done with my thing. So I'll just bring in instructor, and the instructor for this course would be Saurabh sir. So like I think it doesn't need any introduction, but I'll just give a small introduction about Saurabh sir. I think most of you here already might have done one or other classes, attended one or other classes of Saurabh sir. So he's like nothing to say. He's an amazing trainer and developer, and I think everyone knows here. He is a like 2 times gold medalist in skill Olympics. If I'm wrong, please correct me, sir. Okay, yes, sir. So he has represented actually our nation 2 times, and he has got 2 times gold medal in skill Olympics. Hi, Saurabh sir. Good evening.
Hi, sir. Good
Please
evening.
correct me first of all, sir, if I mention anything wrong there.
No, sir. Everything is fine. Everything is correct, sir. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, sir.
So, sir, like basically, I'm done with all the stuff. I don't want to take much of it like time. I know how much excited, how much you are enthusiastic to teach your students and start with the course. Even they are waiting for you. So I'll just go back to the backend and I'll hand it over to you. You can carry on, sir, on the time.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah. Jyotsna, yeah. Can you share my screen? Yep, that is great. So hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Good evening, guys. Good evening. How are you guys, everyone? Good evening, everyone. Show me some charts, everyone. Come on, I can't see your charts. I think the charts are a little late. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, and I welcome you. I welcome all of you to this Node.js essential course, where we're going to cover a lot of fundamentals about Node.js in the next 2 days. So I hope everyone is fine and everyone is doing good. And for all the people who don't know me, my name is Saurabh Gupta, and I'm by profession a full stack developer, and I also teach at LetsUpgrade. So good evening, everyone, and I welcome all of you guys to my Node.js Essentials course. And I saw some questions like Flutter is too late. Yes, Chandresh, there was some issues going on. So yes, not a problem. Don't worry, because in some time we're again gonna start with the Flutter Essentials. So don't worry about it, Chandresh. There was some issues last time. Okay, I feel now I would like to tell you guys, if you have watched my previous sessions, the camera angle is a little different now, because previously my camera angle was from right, now it's from left, because my whole setup has changed, because my previous computer screen has been crashed. So now it's in the repair center. So now I have a complete new setup. So again, if I make any mistakes today, if I fumble in somewhere, because after a lot of time, maybe after 4 to 5 years, I'm using a mouse now, because till this time I was using a laptop. So now I'm using a completely new setup. So if I fumble, if I make any mistakes, please correct me, everyone. And I'm really excited for today's session. So you guys tell me how excited you are, guys. Everyone, come on, show me some excitement in the chat. Everyone, Are you guys excited for the Node.js course? Everyone, come on, tell me in the chat. Because we are going to cover a lot of fundamentals. We're going to see Express. We're going to see how to build APIs. And as a project, we are also going to make a Pokemon API. So we are not going to use anything. We'll make everything ourselves. So we're going to make a Pokemon API. So I'm going to show you tomorrow how to create a Pokemon API with everything, with images and everything. So we're going to prepare our whole data and we're going to like create a complete API that any software, any front end can use. Okay. TypeScript also. No, Suraj, in this Node.js essentials, we're not going to use TypeScript. We are completely relying on JavaScript for this, but not a problem in future. We also have like TypeScript essentials and Angular essentials. So there you're going to learn about TypeScript, but not in this case. Here we are only focusing on Node.js essentials. In short, we are really only going to work with JavaScript. Okay, everyone. Is Node.js good for freshers, sir? Yes, exactly. It is good. If you know JavaScript, you should learn Node.js, because like if you learn Node.js, then like you know how to actually create server-side backends using JavaScript. When we get assignment at the end. So see, guys, everyone, I would just like to announce about assignments. So I think there's a group link in the chat going on. You guys have to join that group. Okay, and please register for the course. So whatever I do here today and whatever assignments I want to share, I'll share it on that group. Okay, and you will also get it through mail if you have registered for the course. So everyone, please register for the course and also join that group. Everything will be shared there. So all the assignment questions and all the things I do here, I'm going to share it there. Is Node.js easy to learn? Yes, it is one of the easiest things to learn. Yes, 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 yes. Before Node.js, we need to learn JS. Yes, if you have a good knowledge of JS, Node.js becomes easier because you're again going to use JavaScript. In Node.js, we're again going to use JavaScript. Group is still facing server errors, sir. So not a problem. You register with the course. You register in the course. Then whatever I like do here will be mailed to you. So everyone, please register in the course. And also, like if you're unable to join the group, register in the course. Otherwise, just join the group. Everything will be shared. Okay, that's cool, guys. So after all this, let's get started and keep your assignment doubts and attendance doubts for the end. We'll talk it about the end. But now on, let's start because I'm really excited for this Node.js course with my new setup, of course. Okay, so let's get started. So let me first of all take a browser because I would like to introduce you with the softwares I'm going to use. I really hope that you guys can see my screen. Do we also learning Express? Yes, we're going to learn Express, Mohit. Yes, we are going to learn Express. Okay. So now, guys, for my editor, I'm going to use VS Code. So you just have to like, if you're from my previous essentials, you guys already know how to like install it and use it. But still, for all the new people, I'm going to show this to you. So just search for VS Code download because this is what I'm going to use for my editor as my editor. So just go accordingly, go in this link, and then depending on your PC, if it is Windows, Linux, or Mac, download it and install it. Depending on your PC, depending on your OS, just download it and install it. Is that clear, everyone? So I really hope that you guys will be able to install it. So what you have to do, you simply have to download VS Code depending on your OS and just simply install it like you install any other software. It's totally easy. I cannot show you like now because it is already installed. Second thing, it will take a little time. So that's why I'm just saying you download it and install it. It's just like a normal software. So this is one thing that we're going to use. Okay. The second thing that we need here, there are three things that we're going to need. So I'm also going to show you the second thing. So first is this thing, VS Code, because this will be our editor. Second thing that you have to download is this, MongoDB Community. Just search for MongoDB Community. It's like a free MongoDB software. So you also have to download this. I'm going to tell you what is MongoDB. I'm going to tell you everything about it. Don't worry. Just for now, if you want to like start your download process in the background, you can just do it. So just search for MongoDB Community download. Here you can go on this link, MongoDB Community download. It's a free version. Okay, I'm going to explain everything about it. So don't worry about it right now. Don't worry about anything. And now here on the right side, if you just go on that page, on the right side, depending on your OS, every option will be selected. So you don't have to worry. Like in my case, it's Windows, so right? So current version, platform Windows, package MSI. Depending on your OS, this thing will be selected. You just have to download it like any other software and just install it. Just install it. That's it. That's it. Don't worry, I'm going to tell you everything about this. Okay. Right now, we have to move ahead. So these are the two softwares that if you want, you can start downloading in the background. And what are these? How we're going to use them? We're going to learn everything about it. Okay. But if you want, I just showed you because I just want you guys to start downloading these things in the background. Okay. Just download this. About what is MongoDB and how it works, I'm going to tell you later. Don't worry about it. Okay. So now Let's move on. MongoDB Compass writes said yes, Suraj, yes. Internally, you'll get an option. It will be already selected. So you don't have to worry. Guys, when you install that MongoDB software after downloading, just click yes for everyone. Everything, sorry. Click yes for everything. It will be installed. It will also install Compass because it is by default selected. Don't deselect anything. Just install it normally. That's it. Yes, yes, it's a new setup, right, Geetika? That's why my camera orientation is like not correct. Don't worry, I'll place it perfectly by tomorrow's session because I just got my setup done. Okay, so now guys, let's start with the topic that we are here to learn. Okay, so install these two software in the background, and just like we always do, let's open a notepad and let's start understanding what are we here to learn and what it actually is. So let me just increase the font size for you a little. So font, and I hope you can see this size maybe. Yeah, this is fine. Okay. So now guys, let's start. So we are here to learn something called as Node.js. Okay. So now, first of all, what exactly is Node.js? Now, a lot of people say that it's a language. A lot of people say that is a framework, but it's nothing like that. Node.js is not a framework. It's not a language. Okay. Node.js is nothing but a runtime environment for JavaScript. Node.js is simply a JavaScript runtime. That means a runtime environment for JavaScript. That means something that is needed to run JavaScript. Just like, for example, say you install C compiler. You have C compiler for C. You have JDK for Java. Environment of a particular language. Okay. So, like for example, if you want to write C language and if you want to run C language code, you have to install C compiler. For Java, you have to install JDK so that you can write the code and run it. And for JavaScript, you have something called as Node.js. Now, you can ask, like, yes, program with small programmer, don't worry buddy, please don't spam the chat because this is for everyone. You know it, but not everyone knows it, right? So let's go from the basics. Okay, so Node.js is nothing but a simple JavaScript runtime. Now we know this. That means it's nothing but an environment to run JavaScript. Now you can ask that I have learned in schools that I can run JavaScript without something like this. Like maybe you have already executed JavaScript without this. So now remember guys, before 2009, browser was the only place where you can run JavaScript. Before 2009, browser was the only place where you can run JavaScript. So you know that, right? You create a HTML page, a CSS page, and a JavaScript page. You connect your JavaScript page with the HTML page, and then you execute it. You have seen it in the JS Essentials also, right? You create a JavaScript page, but you have to link it to HTML so that you can run it. That means browser was the only place where you can run JavaScript. Okay, that means JavaScript language was a good language, but it was very limited because it was only working with the browser. And that's why it was simply a client-side language. That's it. That's why it was called as client-side language. But in 2009, a person named Ryan Dahl created something called as Node.js, which is nothing but an environment to run JavaScript. Now, before 2009, browser was the only place. But after that, he created Node.js. Now, you can actually download and install Node.js in your PC. And once you have installed Node.js in your PC, you can run JavaScript anywhere in your PC. That's the benefit of Node.js. You can run JavaScript anywhere in your PC. Is that clear, everyone? That's what it is doing. That's it. That's it. That's all what Node.js is doing. It's simply an environment. That means it has all the packages and programs that you need to execute JavaScript. So if you simply install Node.js in your PC, you can run JavaScript anywhere. And after that, JavaScript became it came with a boom. Simply, you can say that because previously it was only working with web pages with the browsers. Now, once it is outside the browser, you can execute anywhere. So now it has also become a backend language. Now you can also use JavaScript to connect to databases. Now you can also use JavaScript to handle requests on the web, send responses. You can do literally anything that a normal language like Java and PHP can do. Now you can also do that with JavaScript. That's what Node.js did. So everyone, are we cleared? Guys, everyone, please tell me, are we cleared? Sir, could you please teach us in full screen? I think it's full screen, right? Like you want my notepad to be full screen? Because we are just going to close it after some time. Okay. So everyone, are we cleared? Guys, please tell me, are we cleared with the understanding of Node.js? Please tell me, everyone. I want to understand this first. Okay, that's amazing. So that's all about Node.js. What I need to download in MongoDB? You simply install MongoDB. That's it. Simply install it. You don't have to just install that MongoDB that I showed you and simply install it. That's it. That's it. You don't have to do anything else. That's it. Okay, guys. So that's it about Node.js. And now let's download it. Okay, because now we are cleared with it. So let's download it. So let me get a browser page for you first. So here we go. Now to install Node.js, if you want to install it, simply go ahead and search for Node.js download. So can we use MongoDB Atlas? Yes, we can definitely use. Why not? We can definitely use. But for this particular course, we're going to use Compass. Node.js is backend or frontend. See, understand, Akhilesh. Node.js is simply an environment that helps you to run JavaScript. Now, because of Node.js, JavaScript is outside the browser. Now it's up to you how you want to use JavaScript. You can also create front-end applications. You can also create back-end applications. You can work with both. Okay. Now, guys, let's go ahead. Mohit, because I want everyone to understand how to use Compass so that they can also work offline. That's why I'm simply using Compass in this particular tutorial. Okay. So now, guys, simply search for Node.js download. Just go on the first link. And now again, depending on your PC, like for example, in my case, I'm going to simply download Windows installer 64-bit because my PC is 64-bit. So simply download it, and then after that, install it. Like if you download it, you'll simply get an exe file and just double click next, 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 and install it. That's it. That's it. That's how you install it, just like a normal software. And once you have installed it, to confirm that it is actually installed in your PC, what you can do is you can open your command prompt. Okay, let me get it here, and let me also increase the font size. So font, I think this much is visible. Guys, everyone, is this visible or should I increase a little more? Let me increase a little more. Everyone, just wait for some time. Okay, I think this will be visible. Okay, so once you have installed it, to confirm like it is in your PC, now the environment is set up, simply go on your command prompt, okay, and just run this command, node space -v. That this command is basically to check node version that is currently installed in your PC. If this command gives you a node version, that means it's correct. It is not. If it is not giving, that means the installation has not happened properly. And here we go. See, I get version 14.17.5, and that's it. If it is done, that means now you have Node.js installed. That means now Node.js environment is in your PC, and now you can run JavaScript anywhere, not only in the browser. That's it. So simply install depending on your PC, and after that, just double click next, 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 and install it. Is that clear, everyone? And to confirm if it is installed in your PC, just go in your command prompt and run node-v. That's it. Okay. That means now the JavaScript environment is available in your PC. It's everywhere in your PC. And now you can run JavaScript anywhere in your PC, like outside the browser. You can create files anywhere. I'm going to show you. Now you can run JavaScript without using HTML page. Previously, you used to like run JavaScript by using HTML page. You have to connect it to HTML page because it was only running in browser. Now there's no such dependency. I'm going to show it to you. One more thing, guys. Once you install Node.js in your PC, there is one more thing that happens. First, the environment is settled up. There's one more thing that Node.js gives you. It gives you something called as npm. Okay, it gives you something called as npm that simply stands for Node Package Manager. That simply like stands for Node Package Manager. Okay, it's simply a tool that you get once you install Node.js, and that tool basically helps you to manage packages of JavaScript, or you can say packages of Node.js that you can, like third-party packages that you can download from online, and you can manage it in your project. Because a lot of times when you create, now see guys, don't think about it too much, you'll understand it. Now see, when you start creating projects, sometimes you don't want to create everything yourself. There are a lot of packages that are available online that people have created and uploaded so that you can use them. Some packages help you to connect to databases. Some packages help you to connect to send, handle request and response. Some packages help you to create your server and start it. So there are a lot of packages that do different things. So to install those packages and manage those packages and delete those packages if you don't need it, you have something called as npm. So Node.js simply gives you something called as npm, that is Node Package Manager. So now it's there. To check it, you can also like just see npm and just press enter. You'll get the option of all the available commands that you can use with npm. Okay, so these are all the commands. We're not going to see everything, but we're going to see few of them. So that's it. npm is nothing but a package manager that you have got after installing Node that will help you to download, uninstall, remove, and manage your packages, the third-party packages that you're going to use. Is that clear, everyone? npm is similar to yarn. You can say that, yes. Okay, so that's it. That's all you need to do to set up. So VS Code for editor, that's so simple. Don't worry about MongoDB. We're going to talk about it. And now we have installed Node.js. And now let's see the magic. So let's close the command prompt. We don't need it. And let's open our editor, that is VS Code. So let me just go ahead and open it. So Visual Studio Code. Here we go. We have opened it. It will simply look like this. And now let's go on the desktop and create a simple folder where we're going to store our files. So let's go ahead and create a simple. What if we don't know JS would be able to understand Node? What if we don't know JS would be? Why will JS understand Node.js, Kruti? Like, what exactly is your question? Can you tell me that again? What if we don't know J? Okay, you're asking what if we don't know JS would be able to understand Node.js? Yes, because see, JS is also pretty much like every other programming languages. It looks like almost like it looks almost like all the other programming languages. So if you try, if you see, there is functions, there are variables, so you will understand it. So even if you don't know JS, you can still try to understand it, and it's still easy. Okay. Please set up the path in advanced setting environment of Node.js. No, it will be automatically settled up. Nowadays, if you install Node.js, it will be automatically settled up. You just don't select any option. Don't deselect any option. It will be already settled up. Is that cleared? Okay. Okay, guys, now let's move ahead. I'm basically, right now, I'm just doing the setup, Deblina. That's why I'm like going through it once. Okay. So now, guys, let's move ahead and let's create a new folder. Okay. Now you can name it anything. So for now, let's simply name it like node hyphen essentials. Okay, so you can name it anything. It's totally up to you. And now let's go ahead and open this folder in VS Code. And let me just zoom my VS Code. I hope you can see the font size now. Okay, so now let's go ahead, file, open folder, and just simply select your folder that you created. So let's select Node Essentials and just select that folder. Okay, and that's it. Let's make it small, and everything is like just shuffled up. So let's make all of them good. So now we have the folder, guys. Now npm is not recognized as internal or external command operable program batch file. Okay, so I think you're okay, guys. See, okay, I'll tell you one more thing. So for Priyanka, is node-v working for you? Is node-v working? Did you check that, Priyanka? Is that working? Can you tell me? So if node-v working, npm should work. Otherwise, if your node is not installed correctly, there might be a path issue. So I can tell you how to solve it. Okay. So for all the guys, like for just for all the people, if you have installed node, but it is still not working, that might be an issue with the path. If you have installed node and it is still not working, that might be an issue with the path. So what you can do, let me just see. Because normally nowadays, like it comes with the path. Okay. But if you still want it, I think you can go to program files, and here you have Node.js. And wait, where is it? Yep. So now guys, see what you can do. If there is an issue, like sometimes you install Node.js, but there is a node-v is working. Okay, then maybe restart the shell once again. Then maybe restart the shell once again. That will help then. Just restart. npm. Okay, not a problem. We'll see it. Don't worry. If node-v is working, npm should work. But let's see. Don't worry about it right now. Don't worry about it. Just try once. Just restart your command prompt. Okay. And yes, for all the guys like who are facing problems, like if you have installed node and still node-v is not working, that means there is a path issue in that case. Okay. So what you can do in that case is, see, first of all, just open this, go in your this PC, this computer where I can find it here. And what you have to do is, let me just find it out for now. Okay, let me just get it from here. Okay, so in your this PC, in your my computer, basically, just go on, right click, go to properties. Okay, go to properties. Okay, where is system variables? Do we have it here? I think a lot of things here have changed. So I have to find out. Oh, let's just do one thing. Let's search it. So you can just go here and just search for something called as environment variables. So if you search for environment variables, you'll get this. Edit the system environment variables. Okay. Just open it. Let me get it here. Okay. So now open it and then open environment variables. And here you can see, here you have something called as path. Can you see that, everyone? Here you have something called as path. For user variables, you have something called as path. Now if you edit it, here you go. Can you see that, guys? Everyone, can you see that? I have this path. C user Saurabh Gupta app data roaming npm. So this is the path that is settled up once your like Node.js is installed perfectly. So sometimes what happens is Node.js gets installed, but this thing is not there. So what you can do is you can just go ahead and simply copy this path. Can you see that? C users, then your own name in your PC, app data roaming npm. So just get this path and just come here again and just say new and just paste that path and okay, and that's it. Your path issue will be solved. Simple. Just go ahead and check it once. So if you have installed Node.js and it is still not working, you can do this. Come to your environment variables, go to this path variables in the user variable section, go to this path variable, edit it. If you see this npm path at the end, if you see this npm path, that means path is also settled up. If you don't see this, that means the path is not settled up. So you can just go to this path, copy that, paste the path here, and that's it. Done. It will be solved. Is that clear? So sometimes this path creates a problem, but I think for 90% of the users, this will be perfectly fine because nowadays, if you install Node.js, path is already settled up. Is that clear, everyone? Is the screen not clear? I think that might, let me just increase the quality. Okay. Okay, I think for this, I have to change the screen resolution a little. So let me just change the resolution for now so that you guys can see. Let me just make it big, like, okay. Can you guys see it now, everyone? Can you guys see it now? Guys, can you see it now? I'll again make it normal, but just for now, just to show you, search for environment variables, edit the system environment variables. Okay. Then here, you can simply go to environment variables, and then in the user variables, can you see it here? User variables. Okay. In the user variables, just go in path. Okay. Edit. If you see this npm path, if you have this npm path at the end, that means it's perfectly there. If it is not there, then simply go ahead in your C drive, just get this npm path exactly like this. In the place of Saurabh Gupta, you'll have your own PC name. Just paste it here, and that's it. I think a lot of people are facing the blurry screen problem. I think that is, guys, that is something like maybe an internet issue. Just improve the quality of the video. Otherwise, wait for some time. It will become clear. Because I'm also watching it on YouTube live, and it's like perfectly fine for me. But not a problem. Just try to improve the video quality once. Maybe it will be fine. Okay, because from my end right now it's clear, guys. So sorry for that. Are all JS frameworks supported in Node environment? Yes, almost all. Yes, because Node.js is like JavaScript runtime, right? It runs JavaScript outside the browser. So yes, all the frameworks that need to run JS outside the browser, yes, Node.js supports all of them. Is that clear, everyone? So just simply go ahead, take this path, paste it here, and that's it. That's it. Done. It will be solved. So this is the solution, even if you are facing issue even after installing Node.js. And that's it. Now let me just make it normal again. Okay, so that I can like work with it. Now what was my resolution? Yeah, this one. Cool. So now I hope it will be solved for everyone. Okay. So now guys, let's go ahead and let's see if we can actually run JavaScript without any browser dependency, without any HTML dependency. So let's go ahead. Simply go in your folder, create a new file, name it anything. So for now, let's name it index.js. Now, if you have like worked with JavaScript previously, you know that you always create a HTML page if you want to work with JavaScript. Does VS Code support Node.js? Yes, obviously. Like you simply have to like install a basic JavaScript extension. That's it. Even if you don't install it, it still works. In VS Code, yes, JavaScript is supported. See, guys, Node.js is not a language. So you don't need a Node.js support. You simply need a JavaScript support. That's it. You don't need a Node.js support in VS Code. Okay. So if your VS Code supports JavaScript, that's fine. Because Node.js is just an environment. You're still going to write JavaScript. For everyone, guys, we are still going to write JavaScript. That's it. We are not writing Node.js. It's just a runtime. Okay, guys. So you can see it here. I have simply created a JavaScript file. That's it. And now you can see that I have not created an HTML file. Okay. So now let's write a basic code that we always write. Let's simply do a console.log. Or let's simply say, I am outside browser. Okay. So now this is something that is outside browser. So now let's see if it works without HTML page or without browser. So do one thing, just open your VS Code terminal to check it. You can also use any external terminal. It's totally fine. You can also use a command prompt. You can also use your PowerShell. So I'm just going to use VS Code terminal. So simply go on terminal, okay, new terminal. And here at the bottom in VS Code only, you'll have this terminal. You'll have this path. If you want, guys, you can also use your normal command prompt, or you can also use your PowerShell. Okay. So now let's confirm it if it is working. Now, if you're outside the browser, so to run this JavaScript page, you simply have to use this node command. So write down node space whatever file you want to execute. So simply write index.js, and that's it. Node space index.js. That's why you install node. And here we go. Can you see that, guys? We just printed a message, printed a JavaScript coded message outside the browser. We don't have any kind of browser here, no dependency of HTML file, and still our JavaScript is running perfectly fine. Even if you create a normal variable, it will still be fine. For example, if I simply go here and say, okay, let name, or let say, yeah, name is fine. Name equals, let's say, Saurabh. You still go, it works normally. It works just like JavaScript. You can simply go ahead and write plus name. It'll still work fine. So if you just go ahead, here we go. I'm outside browser and I also have printed the variable. Is that cleared, everyone? Guys, are we cleared? Please tell me, guys, everyone. So now from this, we're going to start everything. We're going to learn how to write Java. Now we know how we can definitely write JavaScript outside the browser. We know this. So now we can see how to use JavaScript for the backend. Don't worry about Nodemon, Sanjay. I'm going to introduce that. But for everyone new, they don't directly they don't need Nodemon directly, right? First, they have to understand Node. Okay, then we'll see about Nodemon. Don't worry about it. Okay, everyone. So I simply clicked on run and I got the output. I did not write that node. That's totally fine, because even if you just do that, it happens internally. So don't worry about it. Yeah, it's totally fine. But yes, in some time you have to set up the whole thing, because in that case we're going to use Nodemon and we're going to change our commands. We're going to use it with npm. So in that case we have to change it. But don't worry about it right now. Right now it will work there, Belina. Okay, guys. So now we have a proof that we can run JavaScript outside the browser. But now what actually can we do with it? So when we used to use JavaScript with HTML, what we used to do? We simply used to print anything on the browser console, or we simply used to like work with HTML elements, right? We used to like change HTML elements content. We used to change the CSS of HTML element. We used to change the height and width of the elements, right? We used to change the source of the images. That's what we use JavaScript for till now, because we used to work with HTML and JavaScript. Now JavaScript is completely independent. So what can we do with it? We can do everything. So in here, in this 2-day course, we are going to see how to build a backend API that is connected to a database using JavaScript in the backend, using JavaScript as a server-side language, because we're going to build our own API and we're also going to connect our API with database, and we're going to do everything with JavaScript. And it is only possible with the help of Node.js, because now we can run JavaScript outside the browser. That's it. Node.js works is done. The environment is there. That's it. Node.js is not doing anything now. Now we're going to use JavaScript to do everything, because now it's outside. Node.js and JavaScript are the same. Care phrase, Node.js is environment. JavaScript is the language. What APIs? Don't worry. Yes, Devlina, don't worry. I'm going to explain everything. Okay. Why name is cross? Because there's an internal variable. That's an internal variable in most of the JS files. That's why it is like that. Don't worry about it. You can still use it. But basically, JavaScript recommends that you should not use a name variable normally in your JS files. You should use some other variables. Is that clear? I just use it. It will still work, but it's not like what you say. It's not recommended. You should not use a name variable in your JS files. You can use like first name or give it some other name. That's totally fine. Okay. So now, guys, let's move ahead and let's see what we can actually do. And before moving like to anything else, let's simply try to understand. Let me again open Notepad, because I want to explain you what we're going to do. Sir, is Node.js framework or library of JavaScript? No, Node.js is the environment, Pranav Verma. Node.js is an environment. It's not a library. It's not a framework. It's an environment. Okay. So now, guys, let's try to understand what is an API, because this is what we're going to build today. This is what we're going to like build tomorrow, but we are starting it from today. So what exactly is an API? Or yeah, first of all, let's try to understand API. So what exactly is an API? And it's really simple. It's really simple to understand. First of all, what is the full form? The full form of API is application programming interface. This is what API stands for. API is application programming interface. Now, what is an API? What is an application programming interface? So for you guys, each and every program that you write in this world is an API. Each and every program that you write in this world that can take an input and give you an output can be considered as an API. Like for example, you write a C function, you write a C program that takes two numbers, adds it, and gives you output. That can also be called as an API. A lot of people get confused, like what exactly is an API? API is nothing. Application programming interface. And here we go. I have a spelling mistake. I didn't see it. Here we go. So it's simple. It's simply a program that can take an input and give you output. That is what an API is. Any program that you write in this world can be considered as an API if it takes the input and gives you some output. That's it. Is that clear, everyone? So API is nothing. But the main concept is here. When we talk about web API, what is a web API? Okay, so now we know API is nothing. It's simply a program, like just like an addition program or a subtraction program. Like it's simply an API. But now we have something called as web API. Okay, so any program in this world can be considered as an API. But now we have something called as web API. That means APIs or programs that we store on the web. Okay, like for example, I write some programs and I put it on a server on the web. Now, what are the possibilities? Now, see, API is still same. It can take input, give some output. It can take a request, give some response. Okay, and like execute some logic in it. That's an API. But when I say web API, that means I write a program. Okay, let's say I write a program that takes two numbers and adds and gives it back. Okay, I write an API like this, and I put it on the web. Now we know that whenever we put something on the web, whenever we put something on a server on the web, that means now if someone wants to access it, there is a URL, right? For example, whenever you want to access a website, you need a URL. You need an address for it. If you want to go to Facebook page, you have to write www.facebook.com. If you want to go on YouTube, you have to write www.youtube. Right? So you have an address. Anything that you want to access on web, you have an address to access it. You have a URL. You should know this, right? I really hope that everyone knows this. Anything that you want to access on web, you need a URL for it. So if you create an API and put it on web, now if anyone wants to access it, they have to use a URL or address to access it that we have provided them. Because if I'm the owner of the API, if I'm the owner of that web API, I will give URLs to people so that they can use it. Or I will give URLs to my own people, like who want to use it. It can be anything. It can be private or public. But that's a different matter. So are we understanding, everyone? Programs that are kept on the web. And they are also considered as web services. Like if you're not doing a simple thing, if you're like simply providing some data or taking some data and storing it, so in long term, in a bigger term, they can also be considered as web services, because you're simply providing services to people, right? For example, I create an API, I put it on the web, and I give URL to users. Okay, fine, if you want to like use this program, call this URL. So I give this URL to a person. Now he can call it and make use of my API, make use of my program that is doing something. It can do anything. It can send data back. It can take data and work with databases. It can just be a normal program that is getting some age or getting some year. It can be any program in this world. Okay, and I give URL to a different user that is writing its own program in a different PC, and he can call this API by that URL, and I'm still going to connect to it. And that's why we can also call it a web service, because it's like providing a service to people, right? You're providing a service to different things. Is that clear, everyone? So that's basic thing. That's just a simple basic things. Is that clear? Are we understanding? You don't have to make it complicated. That's how simple it is to understand what is an API, what is a web API, or you can also call it a web service. Is that clear, everyone? Guys, and now, if you go on internet, in a lot of places, you'll find this definition. Web services or web API provide you a way by which way, like by using that way, two different devices or two different softwares can communicate. And yes, that's simple, right? If I create a web API, that's my program, that's my software, right? And if someone else is writing his own program, and from his program, if he's internally calling my program with that URL, that means yes, two softwares are communicating. So yes, web APIs make it possible. They make two different software communication or two different device communication easy, simple, because of the URL, right? I'm writing a program of my own. Someone else has created an API and has given me the URL. I use that URL in my program, and my program calls that URL and gets data. Two different piece of codes are communicating with each other with the help of that URL. Simple. So guys, have we understood what is an API? Please tell me. Everyone. Guys, everyone, I want answers from everyone. I want answers from everyone. If you have not understood, please tell me. I'll make you understand. But everyone, have you understood what exactly is an API? So API can be any program. If you put it on the web, it becomes a web API. Okay, and if you simply like provide a service with it, like you're providing it like to everyone. Okay, fine, call this URL, I'll give you this data. Call this URL, I'll give you this data. It's like a service. So it can be also called as a web service. Okay, I hope it is understood. It was simple, right? And why people say that two devices communicate? Simple, because of the URL, they are communicating. They are passing data between each other. That's it. Simple. No big deal. Nothing great. Simple. Okay. So now that's it. And now we are going to learn. You can also explain. Yes, I know that. Yes, yes, Viraj. I have actually heard it a lot. I have heard it a lot. But that's fine. Like you don't like. Yeah, that example is fine. But sometimes it becomes complicated. So that is also fine. It's totally fine. Okay. So now, guys, we are going to learn how to create a web API or a web service by using JavaScript. That's it. Or you can also call it Node.js. But you know that Node.js is just an environment. So we're going to learn how to create a web API or a web service by using Node.js. That and my web service or my web API can be used by anyone in this world. Can be used by any other software or any other program or any other front end in this world. So we're going to learn this, how to create a web API or a web service. That's it. Okay. Now, I would like to tell you one more definition. Now, in terms of code, what is it? So, web API can be simply considered as a collection of functions, all the functions doing different things. Okay, now like it's a coder's perspective. Now, it's not a normal user's perspective. Now, let's say we talk about the coder's perspective. So, according to coder, when we write, how it looks, how a web API looks. So, it's simply a collection of functions, all the functions doing different thing. Some function will create data, some function will help you to delete data, some function will send some data, some function will send some other data, and all the functions have different urls for them. And if someone wants to access a particular function, he will call that url. For example, let's say, just think of it like this. Let's say there is a function of uh, delete data. Okay, there's a function like delete data, there's a function like create data. Okay, and both of them have a different url. Okay, now in this case I'm simply going to write like url1. Okay, so let's say if you want to call this function, if you want to call this web API, you have to call the url1. If you want to call this web API, you will simply call the url number 2. That's it. That's what I'll provide to the user. I'll give the urls. So now if user feels I want to delete some data, I have to use this functionality, and to use this functionality I have to call this url. To use this functionality I have to call this url, and that's it. That's how, this is what the coder's perspective is. This is how we're going to see everything, because we are simply going to create functions and we are simply going to associate urls with it. Okay, and we're going to provide urls to the users. Now fine, this is the url and this is what it will do. Call it and make it happen. Simple. So this is the coder's perspective. And why I explained this? Because now we're going to create it. Is that clear, everyone? Okay, that's amazing. So now let's move ahead. We don't need this notepad anymore, and now let's go ahead in our files. Now, there's one more thing I want to tell. Okay, so now if you want, like, there is a by default package. Okay, there is a by default package that you can use to create your server and start creating your APIs. Okay, if you want, there is a by default package available by which you can create, like, when I say a package is nothing but a collection of tools and functions that help you to write your things. So there is a by default package named as HTTP package available in Node.js that helps you to create a server and write API functions and like associate URLs with it. But it's quite complicated. It becomes a little bigger and a little mess. So that's why there is also a third-party package. So HTTP is like an inbuilt package. When you install Node.js, it comes within. It's already there. Okay, it's already there for you. You can simply use it. But there is also a third-party package that you can use, and it's much more better because it provides you easier and cleaner way of writing those APIs and creating server. You can easily create server, and you can easily write functions and associate URLs with it. So there's an inbuilt package, guys, that's HTTP package that you can use. Or there's one more package that is something called as Express. You might have heard of it, Express. So it's not a language. A lot of people think that Express is a language because we mention it like this, right? Mo in stack development, right? Mongo, Express, React, and Node. So people think that Node and Express are different. No, Express is just a third-party package in Node.js. That means someone has created a list of files which provide you some basic functionalities which will make your code easier. Okay, so Express is simply a third-party package that you can use to write APIs in a better and easier way. You can also work without Express. You can use the inbuilt package, that is the HTTP package, and use all the inbuilt functions. But it will simply create a mess because it becomes bigger and it doesn't look good. But it's still fine. You can work with it if you want. But we're going to use in this course, we're going to like simply use Express in this course because it's much more easier and all the people in the world almost use it. Express package. Is that clear, everyone? So it's a third-party package. That means it's not installed by default. You have to install it. This is one package that you have to install. It's not already there. Yes, you can call it a library. Yes, package or a library. It's totally fine because library is also nothing but a collection of files and functions, right? And you can also call it a package. Simple collection of files and functions. Is that clear? So yes, you can also call it Express as a library or simply a package. Is that clear, everyone? It's simply nothing but a collection of functions. Okay, so we're simply going to install this package in our project, and then we're simply going to use all the functionalities of this package so that we can write like APIs in an easier way. Yes, it's like Flask. Like I don't have a lot of experience in Python, so correct me like if I'm wrong. I think Flask is also like a package, right, for you people. So I'm not that much into Python, so I don't know about it. But I think yeah, it's like Flask maybe because I've heard of it that Flask is also like a package. And yep. Okay, everyone. So guys, can we move ahead now? So now I'm going to show you how to install a third-party package in your project. So let's say this Node Essentials is our project. This folder is our project, and this is one file that we have where we can write code. So now let's see how to install a third-party package in our project. Okay, and it's really simple because we have npm, right? I've told you that we're going to use npm to install, uninstall, or manage any package that we want. So let's use npm to install a third-party package which is named Express. Let's go ahead. So it's simple. Simply write npm install Express. That's it. Npm install and the package name. That's it. Just press enter. It will take a minute or maybe half a minute or maybe sometimes 5 seconds. And here we go. Done. Installed. But once it is installed, you can see two changes in your project folder. Now you have one file named packagelock.json. I'm going to explain you what that is. Don't worry about it. And you have one more file named node modules. So you have one file that is packagelock.json. You have one folder now that is created in your project that is named node modules. So I'm going to explain both of these to you. Okay, so first of all, let's go with node modules. So node modules folder is nothing but it's simply a collection of all the packages that your project is using. Okay, so it has all the inbuilt packages plus all the third-party packages that you install in your project for your project in that particular folder. When do we use hyphen save? Normally for this only use hyphen save. So even if you don't use it, it still works. But for this purpose only you use hyphen save so that it is like installed in your project. Is that clear? And also it is mentioned in your package.json. Is that clear, Shubham, buddy? So that can be mentioned in your package.json. But right now we don't have it, so we don't need to use it. Is that clear, Shubham? Okay, guys. So node modules is a folder where all the packages, okay, and all the inbuilt packages plus also the third-party packages are stored. Okay, so that's one folder from where your project will use all the packages and all the third-party packages. So currently all the internal packages plus the Express package that we installed is stored here. See, you can see a lot of folders here. They are all different packages. You have body parser that was by default, but we have also installed Express now. And then we have something called as package lock.json. Okay, now it's a file in which all the packages that you're using, their details is mentioned, or you can say their metadata is mentioned. That means what is the current version that you have installed, what was the first version of that package that you installed, okay, what is the integrity of that, what is the encryption of that, and what is the URL for that particular package. All of that is mentioned in package log.json. Express is a third party package. Yes, Vishal, Express is a third party package. It doesn't come by default. So in this package log.json, basically package log.json holds the information related to all the packages that is in your project. Is that clear? So everything. Like for example, see, if I just go here, see, it has information related to all the packages that you have in your project. Okay, if you simply search for Express here, that information will also be here. So just say Control F and search for Express. Here we go. See, Express. This is the version. Here we go. See all that. These are all the internal packages that it is using, but we don't have to take care of this. I just wanted to show you that it's there. Okay, so you can see Express related details are also mentioned here inside package log.json. Is that clear, everyone? Guys, so package log.json is simply a file that handles like information about your packages. That's it. Okay. Now, so we have installed Express. JSON stands for JavaScript Object Notation, a data structure that looks exactly like JavaScript objects, or which is made using JavaScript objects. So JavaScript Object Notation. Now, whenever you create a JavaScript package, guys, there is one more thing that you should always do. Okay, there is one more thing that you should always do. You should do this. npm. Oh, why it is there? Okay, I think there's some issue with the command prompt here. Not a problem. You can just close this and open a new terminal if you want. Here we go. Cool. Now, guys, see, there's one more command that you like. It's not mandatory, but you should do it if you're like creating a new project, new JavaScript project. Okay. So what you can do is you can simply run this command npm init. It will simply set up the project information for you. npm init is the command which will simply settle up the project related information for you, so that if you share this project with anyone, they can have all the information related to this project. So basically a project metadata will be settled up with this command. A project metadata, that means all the info, it will create a file which will contain all the information related to your project and packages. Okay, so npm init, this is one thing that you should always do. Like it helps you to maintain your project in a better way. So simply write npm init. Now see, it will ask for everything. Okay, fine. What do you want like your package name to be? In this case, it essentials. I can change it. I can say, okay, fine. I want it to like have API hyphen new. Can change the name. Okay, it's like your project name. Okay, then you have version. Okay, fine. This is the first version of my project. Description, node tutorials. Entry point, yes, index.js. This will be my first file, so that's fine. Test command, no test commands. Git repository, right now we are not doing it. Keywords, no. Author, you can give your name. I'm giving my name. It's like a metadata. That's it. License, ISC, fine. Is this okay? Yes. And here we go. Now, there is one more file that has been created here. You can see package.json. In this, basically all the information related to your project, see the project name, the project version, description, main file, and the basic dependency, like basically the third party package that you're using is also mentioned, Express. Package.json also holds the information of the third party packages that you have installed. Okay, only the first version of it. If you update it, this will not change. Only the information about the third party package when it was installed. Okay, package.json also holds that information. So in this dependency section, it will hold it. And here we go. See, author, license. So basically, package.json is just a project metadata. That's it. And also holds the information about the third-party package's first version when you installed it. Once, if you update this Express package in the future, this will not change because it only holds the information of the first time it was installed. It basically tells the user, okay, fine, that this package is there. That's it. Is that clear, everyone? So package log.json only for packages, package information, detailed information. Package.json, complete project information. Yes, you can say that. Yes, Akhilesh. I hope you guys are relating now. Metadata, it's just Sarma, it's just information about data. That's it. Metadata is like data about data, info about anything. It's like you have a book. So on the cover page, you have the basic info of the book, right? Inside the book, you have the real content. But on the cover page, you have name of the author, the price of the book, the name of the book, okay, the description of the book. So that is the information about what is inside. Okay, so that's what you call as metadata. You don't have to, Yamid Yala. Package.json automatically gets updated, Yamid. Okay, so if I install any more package in future, this package.json file will automatically be updated. You don't have to. Now, dependency means what your project is dependent upon, what your project is using. That is what a dependency is, right? Simple. So dependency means what your project is dependent upon, what your project is using externally. Okay. Now, guys, one more thing. Then we move on to your creation, or we move on to the code part, because these things are also important because a lot of people don't know about them. Okay. That's why I'm explaining all of this. Okay. Ajit, I just told it, right? Package lock is basically the info about packages. Package.json is the info about your project. Is that clear, Ajit? So package lock for packages, package.json for simply about the project. Okay, now guys, one more thing. In future, when you share your project with someone, you don't have to share the node modules folder. You don't have to share the node modules folder, because node module folder is one of the biggest folders in your project. If you share it, it's like having a lot of, like, it's a big size. Okay. So you never share the node modules folder. You only share other files. You never share the node modules folder. Okay. But now you can say that, sir, if I don't share the node modules folder, how will the other user will get all the packages? How will he know what package I installed? How will he get the package that I'm using? So don't worry about it, because you're sharing these two files, right? Package lock and package. So once the user gets it, he'll simply run a command, npm install. That's it. Basically, the command will read the package.json, and it will basically see, okay, fine, these are the packages that this project needs, and it will simply install all the related packages. That's why you never share this node modules, because it's big. It takes time, right? You never share node modules. So you simply share all the other files. You simply share package.json and package log.json, so that the other person can simply run npm install and he can get all the packages. That's it. Npm install will go ahead, read the package.json, and basically download all the packages that we are using. Okay, that's why we never share node modules. It's very big. 95% of the size of the project is taken by node modules. That's why we never share it. Is that clear, everyone? So that's why these two files are again important, so that other user can also install the packages. And that's it. That's it about all the information. Can we install any package at any time? Yes, Veda Pratap, you can install any package anytime. You can remove any package at any time. It's totally fine. Okay, guys. So now let's get started with the code. What say, everyone? Can we start, guys? Everyone, come on, tell me. So now in the next 1 hour, we're going to learn the basics of API. Okay, and I'm also going to teach you the basics of MongoDB. So don't worry about it. Okay. So will the npmi works for clone project from GitHub? Yes, Pravina. Yes, Pravina, it works. It definitely works. Okay, guys. So now let's start. Okay. So now the first thing, we have installed Express, right? We have installed a package called Express and we want to use it. So now when you're writing server-side JavaScript, or when you're simply writing JavaScript, if you want to use a package, you have to import it. If you want to use a package, you have to import it in your file. So now here, I want to use that Express package. I want to use the functionalities of that Express package. So first I have to import it. So how to import it? It's simple. Simply create a variable in which you want to import the package, the functionalities of that package. You can name it anything, but I'm simply going to name it Express so that there is no confusion, because I'm importing Express. So I'm also going to name my variable Express. Then equal to, and simply write require. So now this is the function that will import the package for you, import the functionalities of the package. So require, and then here inside this, you simply write the package name, and I'm going to write Express because this is my package name. See, guys, you can name this anything. I can name it E, I can name it P. It's totally fine. But just to like simply maintain the naming convention, we write the same name so that there's no confusion. I can identify which functionalities this variable is having by just seeing at the package. So this is the package name. This will be Express, but this is the variable name. You can name it anything, but I simply name it Express to avoid any confusion. That's it. Okay. So now we have imported it. Okay. So that means all the functionalities of the Express package now are inside this variable, and I can use it now. Okay. So now the first thing that you have to do when you're working with Express is you have to create an Express object. You simply have to create an Express object, and that's really simple to do. So you can simply do this. Const, give any name. So I want to name my object as app. You can give it any name. So I simply name it app. App equals, and then simply pass the Express function here. That's it. This is the variable. So if you like name it P, then you have to pass P here. Remember it, guys. This is the thing that we are using. So in this case, I have named it Express, right? That's why here also express function, and that's it. Sorry. And now this app is nothing but an object of express that we can use to do everything. Is that clear, everyone? So now this is the basic thing that you have to do. Now that's it. Basics are done. You have imported the express package, stored in a variable called express, and then you have created the express object named app. You can also name it anything. It's totally up to you. But we have named it app. And now we can do anything we want. But the first thing that we want to do here is we have to create and start the server, because we are creating a server, right? We are creating a backend server. We're writing APIs, and we also have to create backend server so that it runs and everyone in the front end can call it. Is that clear? Node.js, no live server. Yes, here we don't. I think yes, guys. I think tell to others here we don't need any live server. We are creating our own server and we're going to run it. Is that clear? We're going to use the express package to create our own server and to run it. Is that clear? So we'll run our project on a server. We'll basically run our API on a server. So we'll create that server and we'll run it. Okay, by using express, and it will start running. That means your API has start running, your project is running, and if I create APIs and create URLs, anyone can call this server and get the output. So let's see how to create a server and how to install it, how to run it. Sorry, not install it, how to create it and how to run it. And it's a one-line thing if you're using express. If you're not using express, you have to create server and execute it. But if you're using express, there's only a one-line code that will create the server and also run it. Simple. So now here you can simply write app, then dot. So there's a function with it which is called as listen, which will do both the things. It will create the server and also start running it. So listen, and inside this, you simply write the port number on which you want your server to start running. So let's say I write, okay, fine, I want you to run on 8000 port number. And then there's one more thing to it. You can also pass a callback function, which is called if your server is perfectly running fine. So here you can simply write console.log server is running. Okay, so basically app.listen will also create the server and also start running it on port number 8000. And this function will be called if the server is running perfectly. It will not be called if it is not running perfectly. So we can like write this console.log just to make sure that our server is running or not. And that's it. We imported Express, we created the object, and now we have actually created the server and started running it on port number 8000. And now to check it, save the code and just go here and run node index.js. And let's see. And if we go see, we get this message, server is running. That means the server has been created and it is also running. Is that clear, everyone? Guys, please tell me, are we clear here? Everyone. So this is the basic you have to do. Okay, so let me just comment it out. Express object. Okay, now my keyboard has changed, so I have to like change my finger positions as well. And here we're going to write creation and start of server. That's it. Is that clear, everyone? Guys, please tell me. Everyone, I want everyone to answer here. Everyone, are we cleared with this? Guys, please tell me. Okay, amazing. Now, let's start with the basics. So now, guys, we have to understand one more concept to move ahead. Now, our server is up and running. What Express is used for? To create server and to write what you call API endpoints, to write the functionalities. Is that clear, Spite code? If you have joined late, I will suggest you, buddy, to just go back in the video a little bit and you can start it from the start so that you can also understand what is Express and why it is used. Spidey code. I hope you can do that, buddy. Okay, guys. So now, before moving on, so now we have the server. That means now this program can handle requests and send responses. But before that, we also have to learn few more things. I'm trying to complete everything for you. I'm trying to basically give you all the fundamentals. So now this whole, like now the server is running. That means now it can handle requests and send responses. But before that, let's open the notepad again because we also want to like understand one more thing that a lot of people are confused in a lot of times. So let's try to understand. Now, when you start sending request to a server or to anything, okay, on the web, okay, so there are different kind of requests that you can send. There are different kinds of requests that you can send to a server, or that you can send to a server. So basically on the web, whenever you're sending request, Basically, we using HTTP. Whenever you're sending request on the web, there are different kind of request that you have to send. So depending on your need, you have to select a kind of request that you want to send, depending on your need. Okay, and all the different kinds of requests have a name. Like there's a name called as get. Request type. It's called a request method. It is called the request type, request method, or a request category. Okay. So whenever you send a request, you have to mention what kind of request I'm sending, so that server can understand what do you want to do, what you want, and depending on your request type, server understands. Okay, fine. If he's requesting with this type, that means this is what I have to do. So to make the server understand, whenever you're sending a request, you also mention what kind of request you're sending. And this is one kind of request. This is one kind of method, or this is one type of request. That is get. So you always send a get request whenever you only want to get some data from the server. So get request is always used to get data from the server. So like if I'm a client, if I'm a front end, or if I'm anything, okay, and I want to send a request to a server, so I'll simply say, okay, fine, I'm sending you a get request. So basically server will understand, okay, fine, he's sending a get request, that means I have to do this, that means I simply have to send some data back to him. That's it. Simple. And okay, like how will the server understand? For that we also write some code. So don't worry, don't think like server will by default understand. No, we write the code. Okay, but this is for easier communication. We have this request method for easier communication, so that server and client can communicate efficiently and easily, so that we can easily understand, okay, fine, it's a get request, we have to do this. It's a this request, we have to do this. That's it. That's why we have this. So there's a request type called as get, which is for getting data. There's a request type called as post, which is for creating data. Creating data. That means whenever user wants to submit some data and he wants the server to, okay, fine, take this data and post it in database, store it in database. When I want to send some data in my request and I want the server to store it somewhere, I will send a post request. So when I simply want to get some data, I will use get request. When I want to send some data as a client, I will send a post request. Then you also have a put request. Okay, this kind of request can be used for creating or updating data. That means, okay, fine, I want to create some data or I want to update some data. I mean, there is already existing data. I want to change something in it. So I want to send a data and I also want to change. Okay, like I'm sending you a part of data. Please update it somewhere. So in that case, I can send a put request. And for the same thing, you also have a patch request. It's simply for update. Okay. So again, if you want to update, you can also use patch request. And then you have a delete request. You send a delete request when you want to delete some data. You want to tell the server, okay, fine, I want to delete something now. So you send a delete request so that the server can understand, okay, fine, now the client wants to delete something. So these are the different basic different kind of requests that you can send. Is that cleared? Post and put. Put is basically used for update, and post is only used for creation of data. Is that cleared, Ved Pratap? Put can handle both, create and update, but post is only for creating data. That's why normally if you want to create data, we go for post, and we want to like update data, we go for put or patch. Is that clear? We use put if I want to update the whole row or whole record. We use patch if we simply want to update a part of that data, not the complete thing. So that's one difference between put and patch if you want to ask. Is that clear? So post is for creating, put is for updating, and in put update you simply update the whole record. In patch update, you simply update a part of a record. That means, okay, fine, I simply want to update the name or the age or the city. But when you want to update the whole document, replace the whole document, use a put. Now, again, it depends on us. We can do anything internally. We can prank the user. Okay, fine, you send a delete request, I'll update in the backend. It depends on us. But like we follow these rules so that everyone in this world can understand it. Because if we don't follow these rules, if we don't if we like if the user sends delete request and I do update in the backend, that's wrong, right? Then how will the user trust us? That's why we follow these rules. That's why we have these rules, so that all of the world can write programs together in the same way, so that you can understand my code and so that I can understand your code. Because if everyone starts doing things of their own, then no one will understand how code is working, how the format is working. That's why we have these rules. Fine, if you want to get data, send a get request, and everyone in the world knows it. So there's a formality. Okay, there is like a what do you call a common practice that everyone does. Is that clear, everyone? And yes, Karan, object name can be anything, not app. You can name it obj, you can name it your name, you can give any name to it. Okay, guys, so that's it. And now we are on the server side. That means right now we are not going to send request. We are going to create it. So we are basically creating the server. So what we are going to do is we are going to handle these requests. We are going to handle these requests. Is that clear, everyone? We are not going to send these requests. So let's see how to do it. So close it now. We don't need it anymore. And let's move ahead and let's see how to write things like this. So now let's write, okay, let's write API endpoint or a functionality. Let's write an API or a functionality that will handle a GET request coming from the user on a particular URL. Now, guys, see, guys, you know a part, right? When the user sends the request, he'll like give two to three things. One important thing is type of request. Okay, I'm gonna show you everything. Don't worry. Type of request. Okay. Second thing, he will call a URL. That means these are the two things that he'll definitely send. Type of request. Okay, fine. I'm sending a GET request or a POST request, and then he will also call a URL. So now it's my job as a backend developer to create an endpoint that will handle this type of request on a particular URL. Okay, so let's do it. So let's write a functionality that will handle a GET request on a particular URL. So let's write it. So again, simply use the express object, that is app. So I write app dot is something called as get. Simple get function for handling GET request. That's it. That's how easy it is. Get. And then as the first parameter here, you write the URL that you want the user to call this endpoint. So you write the URL here that you want the user to call if he wants to use this endpoint. So let's say I say slash, okay, slash anything like, for example, dummy. I want the user to use this dummy thing. If he wants to call this particular functionality, use dummy in your URL. Okay. Now see, first you'll have the website name. First you have the web address, whatever it is, www.something.com/dummy. Whatever my domain is /dummy. This is the URL. In this case, we don't have any domain. So currently we have a local server. Our server is not online. That means we are not going to have any domain name. We have a local server. So in this case, our domain address, our main address will be this localhost, and our port number is what? 8000. So this is our base address. This is our base address. So what user have to call if he wants to call this dummy? He has to write localhost colon 8000. That means our server address slash dummy. If he calls this URL using get request, this will be called. So if he calls this URL and by using get request, this particular endpoint will be called. This is our domain address. If we launch our website, if we launch our server, like if we launch our project live and if we give a domain name, then in that case, it will not be localhost 8000. It will be like something like www.saurabh.com or whatever you want, /dummy. It's important, /dummy. So remember, guys, whatever you write here will come after your domain address, but you don't have to write domain address. It's fixed. It's already there. Is that clear, everyone? In this case, it's localhost colon 8000 because we have a local server and port number is 8000. Okay, that's fine. So after writing the URL, put a comma and then you have a function which by default has two parameters, request and response. These are the two objects that will help you to handle the request and send responses. So in request object, all the components related to request will be present. In the response object, all the components related to response will be present. And depending on our need, we're going to use it. So whatever request user is sending, all the information will be inside this request object, and whatever information we want related to the response object, related to the response, it will be stored in the response object. That's it. They are by default available. You don't have to do anything. You can also name them anything like this. It's totally up to you. But we normally name them request and response so that they're easier to understand. REQ and RES. Is dummy case sensitive? No, nice guy. You can name it anything. It's simply inside double quotes. You can see it. It's simply inside double quotes. It's totally up to you. You can write it however you want. Whatever you want it to be, you can write it. But your user has to follow it then because it's a URL, right? If I name my site www.book.com, user has to call book only, right? The user cannot call anything else. So it's a URL. It's a string. Whatever I pass, that is what the user has to call. Proper name. It's not case sensitive. You can name, like put anything. Okay, fine. So this is the function. And we forgot the arrow there, so let me write the arrow. And here we go. So now guys, the structure is done. So now if a user calls this URL with a GET request, this functionality will be executed. That means this functionality. And we have two objects here, request object, response object. All the things that I want related to request will be in the request object. All the things that I want related to response will be in the response object. So now, for this case, let's send a dummy response. Let's send a time pass response just to see, are we getting a response? If the user calls this particular URL, is he getting the response? Let's see. So let's simply say response. So I'm going to use the response object. So whenever you want to send a response, you're simply going to use the response object. Okay. So response dot, there's a function called as send. And inside this send object, inside this send function, you can send any kind of response. So let's say I'm simply going to send hello there. That's it. I'm sending a response. Now a simple API endpoint. We also call it endpoint because you call this URL, you come to this functionality, right? So we also call it as API endpoint. These functions are also considered as API endpoints or URL endpoints. It's totally fine. Okay, you can also call them API endpoints. And that's it, done. A basic functionality is done. Now then, we have to save our code and we have to rerun the server. We have to rerun the server because we also have to execute it again, right? So we have to rerun the server. So let's rerun it. Node index.js. And here we go. Now again, server is running. Always remember to re-execute it, guys. Always remember to re-execute it. Don't worry. I'm also going to tell you a solution if you don't want to do this in some time. But first, let's get used to the basic things. So now done. Let's go on the browser and let's try to call this URL. Remember, whatever you write in your browser page is by default a GET request. So you don't have to mention anywhere that I'm sending a GET request. Remember, guys, whatever you write here is always a GET request. Okay, so internally it is a GET request. You don't have to write it. Let's check it out. First, remember localhost 8000, which is your what? Base address. Bash, what do you have to call? Dummy. And internally it is a GET request. You don't have to write anything. Execute, and here we go. Can anyone see the response? We got the response, guys. Can you see that? Everyone, we created our very own server and a simple API endpoint, and we got the response. Guys, are we cleared? And now it's just a start. We're going to create a lot of endpoints. We're also going to connect database to it. We're going to do a lot of things. Don't worry about it. But right now, I hope we are understanding. Okay, because see, whatever you write in the browser is always a GET request. So don't worry about it. That's how we are passing GET. And I'm also going to show you some different things. So don't worry about it right now. Okay. Now that's cool. But now there's the issue. See, guys, we are always facing an issue and we are solving it in some way. Okay, so now we have one more issue. And the issue is now browser is not like really capable of sending all kind of request. Browser was capable of sending a GET request. We did it. Now, what if I want to check for post request? What if I want to check for delete request? What if I want to check for update request, put request, not update, put request, patch request? Can this localhost be used for PHP? Yes. Why not? Why not? Any local server that you run is named localhost. Are we using that arrow function? Yes, Karan, it's an arrow function, guys. See, guys, if you don't want to use arrow function, you can also do this. You can remove this arrow from here and you can simply write function. This is also same. Is that clear? But I'm not using normal function. So you simply remove this function keyword and just simply put arrow. That's the only difference. That's it. Not a problem, Uber. Not a problem, buddy. Okay, guys. So now, as I was telling you the problem that browser is not capable of normally sending all the request, all kind of request. It was only capable of sending GET request. What if I want to test my post request, delete request, put request, patch request? How I'm going to test it? So for that, what we're going to do is we're going to use an API testing tool. So when you create an API, before integrating your API with a front end or any other application, we can also use an API testing tool. So let's say we don't have a front end right now. We don't have a front end. Right now don't have any clients. But I want to see if my API is working perfectly, if my API is like perfectly fine. So we also have something called the API testing tools that we can use to test our APIs if we don't have any front end. And the best part, it is available inside VS Code. You don't have to install anything else. It is available inside VS Code. Now, guys, see, you have a lot of different tools. You have Postman, you have Insomnia, but you don't have to use any other software that will make like put load on your PC. There is an internal software available in your VS Code that you can use. So you just go to this extension section, okay, and just search for something called as under client. This I have already installed it. Okay, I have already installed it. Just search for something like this, Thunder client. I'm using XAMPP and I don't like it. Not a problem, Uber. You can simply go for Node.js then if you don't like XAMPP. It's totally fine. Okay, guys. So you have to install this. Either you can. So if you guys know how to use Postman, if you guys know how to use Insomnia, you can go for it. Totally fine. I'm not going to stop you. But I would suggest you to use this because Insomnia and Postman take different sizes because they are completely different softwares. It's like a simple extension in your VS Code. So it will be in your VS Code, a single software doing everything. Just install this. I don't have the button here, install button, because I've already installed it. You have to install it. And after installing, once you've installed this Thunder client, you'll have this thing. Can you see that, guys? Right now you don't have it, but once you've installed Thunder client, you have this. Open it, and here we go. Now let me just remove it. It was a previous thing, delete it. And now from here, I can simply click on the new request button. It will create a complete window for me from where I can send different kinds of requests. So let's, sorry to disturb, but when we wind up our session, by 8:45, when we test the basic things, we can end the session. Is that clear, Shubham? Okay, so now guys, let's move ahead. Let's do this now. So click on new request and let's test the same get request here. Okay, so here we go. See guys, you have this URL part. Remove it because our URL is what? http:// don't forget to put this, it's very important whenever you write URL. So http:// localhost, just the same thing that we wrote in the browser, 8000/dummy. Now URL part is done. Second, what kind of request it is? Get, post, put, delete, patch, head options. What is it? It is get. So I select get. Are you sending any query parameters? No. Are you sending any headers? No. Let me just make it a little small so that you can see everything. Okay, so are you sending any headers? No. Remove it, remove it. Okay, are you sending any authentication parameters? Guys, see, don't worry about all these right now. When we start working in the future things, I'm going to show you everything, how they work. Right now, don't worry about it. So no query parameters, no headers, no auth, no data, no test, nothing. Simple URL, simple get request. And here we go. See, in the bottom we have this response window, right? Just let me just, yeah, this is the response window. I have zoomed it a lot, that's why I have to see everything. Why not using, see, previously Canval I used to use Postman. After that I also shifted to Insomnia, but now I find Thunder client very easy. So now it's just like, it's just about upgrade, right? I was using Postman 3 years back, then I shifted to Insomnia. Now I use this, it's totally fine. Okay, now send. And here we go. Can you guys see it? I got the response, hello there, that I was sending, that I got in my browser. Here we go, hello there. Simple. See guys, okay, don't worry about the headers right now. We'll understand like what are they in tomorrow's session. Don't worry about them right now. Okay, right now this much is fine. We got the response. We get send a get request and we got the response, and that's it. Cannot get on the browser. Nicholas is asking, cannot get. I think your server is not running. Don't worry, it will be solved. I think you made a problem while saving it. Okay, why my mouse is not working? It's a new setup, guys. Sorry if something is happening. Yeah, now it's working. I think it got paused a little. Okay, so everyone, are we cleared? Guys, are we cleared? Okay, now, okay, mouse is stopping again and again, guys. Sorry for this. Okay, okay, everyone, now let's move ahead. So now we have a different place from where we can simply send request and get responses and test our APIs. Now we don't have to go to the browser. So now let's see, what if I simply don't want to send a response like this, like it's a lame response, it's like a text response. What if I want to send a good JavaScript object? Can I send it? Yes, you can always send a JavaScript object from here. You can simply write a JavaScript object inside this and it will be sent as a JSON. It will be sent as a JSON to the client. So let's write a JavaScript object here, like for example message anything, hello. So this is my, now you guys know, right? This is the JavaScript object I'm sending. Save it. Okay, now one more thing, guys. Let me open the terminal. You have to rerun it, right? You have to rerun it. So close it. Again run the program because you changed something, right? So again run it. Don't forget to run it. Now I'm going to show you how to solve this headache of running it again and again. But let's test it first. Let's send it again. And here we go. See, now we got a JSON here. Message, hello. Same thing. Whatever you don't want, you can send it. And don't worry, tomorrow we are going to send all kind of different responses. But right now, let's solve one headache. So now there is one headache that is going on here. That is, whenever I make any kind of changes, I am getting cannot get error on the browser. Nicholas, I think your server is not running, buddy. That's why you're not getting it. I think your server is not running or the URL is the problem. Check your URL, Nicholas. Buddy, can you please check your URL, buddy? Check your URL or check if your server is running. That's when you get this problem. Cannot get. Otherwise, if you check both of them and if you like are sure that they are fine, post your code on the community and let me see it. Post your code in the group. Let me see it once. Because right now I can't see your code, right? Just post it. And yes, you also check your port number. Yes, Akhilesh, you're correct. Nicholas, please also check your port number if it is correct. Okay, guys. And the last thing you can do is post it your code on the community so that I can see it. What is problem? And I'll solve it for you. Okay, so now guys, let's solve the headache of running a file again and again. So there is a tool that you can install. Localhost :8000/dummy. And is your function like this only, Nicholas? Is your function exactly like this? And are you sure that your project is running on port number 8000? Please check both of them. Okay, guys, now let's move ahead. Okay, now let's see one more thing. Okay, so now, what if I don't want to run my program again and again? What if something is there that can do this for me? So whenever I save my file, it will execute my program again. I don't have to do it. It will do it internally. So yes, there is something called as Nodemon. There is a tool called as Nodemon. It's like an automation tool that will run your node commands whenever you save your file. That means you don't have to rerun your programs again and again. So let's install that tool. And that's simply, like, it's really simple to install it. It's really, really simple to install it. Again, use npm install. Now mention one more thing here. Mention -g. That will install it globally. If I don't mention -g, this tool will be only installed for this particular project. If you mention -g, that means it will be installed globally for your PC. That means you can use it anywhere in your PC and inside any project. You don't have to install it again and again. That's why you have to mention -g. I want it to installed globally. So npm install -g and then simply write nodemon. It's a tool that will execute a node command after every save so that you don't have to rerun it. And that's it. It will take a little time, maybe 30 seconds or 1 minute sometimes. Here we go. It's installed now. And that's it. So now, instead of using node for running your program like node index.js, what you can do is now use something called as nodemon. Okay, it's a service that will internally run for you. And that's it. See now. Oh, there's some issue. I know this. It's a script problem, guys. It's a script problem. So I have to get the script for this. I think I can easily find it on the. First of all, let me check if I made a mistake here. How can it be disabled? I just checked it in some time, like some time back. I just simply checked it. How is it disabled? It cannot be disabled. It was running in the morning. But I know what is this problem. We can simply solve it. There is one thing that I have to mention. Okay, let's go on Stack Overflow because I don't remember that command. So I have to like get that command. Running scripts is not disabled in the system. Nodemon. If I just simply search something like this, I'll get that command because I don't remember that command. Okay. Okay. Do we have any command? Yes. This is the command that I want to use. Okay. So you can see it. Yeah. Yeah. I simply don't remember everything of this command. That's why I always come to Stack Overflow because I have faced it a lot. But I don't know why it is happening because in the morning it was running. So guys, if you also face this problem, okay, restart the terminal. Are you sure, Berlia? It will work. I think that will also work, but let me just do it so that in future nothing will happen. Okay. So simply copy it, guys. Okay. And run your command prompt using administrator. So simply search for cmd, right click, run as administrator, and simply paste the, okay. paste this command. Oh, and again, mouse is creating problem. I think I have to get a different mouse now. Yes, exactly. Why is this happening? It will not work in. It should work, right? Hmm. Why is it not working properly? Try 7. Okay, should I try PowerShell? Why not? Let's try it. Let me open PowerShell. Okay, now guys, you don't have to see the command because now I again have to increase the font size. Oh, this mouse is creating a lot of problems. Tomorrow I have to get a new mouse. I'm so sorry guys for this. It's a complete new setup. Okay, let me just paste it here again. Yes to all. Okay. Now let's see if it is working. So now I've done it. Executed the command. Let's see it now. Done. So that was a problem, guys. So I used PowerShell. It was not working with command prompt, and that's it done. For most of you guys, this problem will not be there. If it is there, I'll just put the link in the chat for you guys. So I'll just copy this link. Here we go. I've pasted the link of the Stack Overflow page in the chat, guys. So if you face this problem, you can simply go here, take this command, paste it in your PowerShell, run it as administrator, guys. Don't worry about it. Run it as administrator and it will work. And that's it. Done. Solve the problem. So now you can see. Now everyone, please focus here. Once you have done with Nodemon, now see if I save my page, my server restarts. It reruns the page. I don't have to do anything now. See, you see that? I'm just saving the page and it is working perfectly fine. And that's how it works. So that's where Nodemon is helping you. Now you don't have to take care of running the server again and again. You simply save your file, write the code, save the file, write the code, save the file. Don't have to take care of like rerunning the pages, and that's it. Install globally versus locally. Does this work differently on Windows and Linux? It definitely works like that in Windows, but I don't know about Linux right now, Samir. But maybe yes, in Linux also it works like that. That's why we have that option of global. So I think yes, because I have used it only like few times in Linux. So I think there also it works like this. You have to install it globally. Okay, so yes, in Linux also it works like that. Okay, guys. So now we have removed the pain of rerunning the page again and again, and now we are good to move ahead. Okay, everyone. For Nodemon install, we get this problem. Just terminate and install with new terminal. It will work, sir. Okay, Berlia, that's also fine. You can like reinstall it. Either you can just put this command, because Nodemon is not the only command where you will face this problem. There are some more, like there are some other scripting commands also where you will face this problem. So it's better to put that command in a PowerShell so that all the scripting commands from future are allowed. So that's like a permanent solution. Okay, guys. Now let's move ahead. And like I'm simply facing all of these new issues because this is the first session I'm taking on this PC. That's why. Okay. Now let's move ahead. Okay. And now let's see how to create a post request and how to send a data from the client. Okay. Let's see everyone. So again, yes, I think I closed it. Okay. At the end, I'll put that link in the chat. I think I closed it. Let me just get it again. Okay. Here we go. Copied the link and I pasted in the chat. Okay. That's cool. Now, guys, let's move ahead and let's see how to create a post API endpoint so that user can send a post request and also user can send some data. Let's do it. So app dot post. Simple. Just like app dot get, you have app dot post. And then here you can have your URL. So I can simply say /create. And then again, I'll have two things, request and response. And let's send a dummy response. Okay, here I'm simply going to say get working. And I'll just simply copy this line from here. I'll paste it here and I'll simply say post working. And that's it. That's it. Now let's see if post is also working. So let's go here. Okay. Now I don't want to use this. Okay. So you can simply do this again. Just click on new request again. New request. Again, write your own URL, HTTP colon double slash, no S because currently it's a local server. So you don't have to use S. So HTTP colon double slash localhost colon 8000, and we don't have to take care of rerunning the server. You know that, right? Now we have Nodemon. Save it, it will work. So 8000 slash. Now what we have to put, guys? Everyone, come on, tell me. According to our program, what URL do we have to put there now? Come on, guys, tell me really fast. Everyone. Guys. And you, remember, guys, you can put anything here. I wrote create. You can put anything. Don't think like that. If it is post, you have to write create only. Don't think like that. You can write anything here. Okay. Create your name. It's totally fine. Okay. So let's simply go. Yes, you guys are correct. Create. So create. Okay. Spelling mistake. Create. And then from get, let's go to post. And again, no headers. I don't need any kind of headers. Let me just close the terminal for now. It takes up space. See, these are two by default headers that Thunder client sends. I don't need it right now. And don't worry about headers. I'll explain you tomorrow. Okay, so let's do it. Send. And here we go. See this. Post working. That's amazing. But now, that means now fine. This endpoint is also working. But, we know that in post, the client sends data. So what if the client sends data? How I'm going to handle it? Let's do it. So let's send some data from the client. Let's send some data from the client. And to send data, directly go to this body part. You have query. We are not sending any query parameters, no headers, no auth. You have to simply send a body. Okay, that's it. Inside body, you have to send some data. But now, before sending some data, I want to teach you one more thing. This is the last thing for today. Okay. Before sending some data, I want to teach you one more thing. Okay. I want to teach you one more thing, and that is, again, we have to open Notepad because any time where is like if we have something new. Okay, so now we're also going to talk about headers, guys. Actually, I wanted to talk about this tomorrow, but right now we need it. So before writing it, let's simply talk about headers. No, we don't have to use body parts and Megamind. We don't have to use body parts, so don't worry about it. First of all, let's talk about the important thing, that is headers. Okay, so guys, what are headers? Okay, what exactly are headers? So headers are nothing but a way of sending extra information in the request or in the response. Headers are nothing but a way of sending extra information related to the request or the response, vice versa. So a server can also send a header with the response. A client can also send a header with the request. And what does the header carry? Header carries the extra information related to the request or the response. So if I'm sending a request, I can also send some headers. And headers basically carry extra information that I want server to understand. And when the server sends response, server can also send some headers with the response. Response is your actual thing, but the server can also send some headers, and headers carry extra information. Now, when I say extra information, what are a few examples of extra information? It can be like, let's say, for example, I'm sending a request. So what kind of extra information I can send? I can say, okay, fine, this is the kind of data that I'm sending. Okay, this is the kind of parsing that I want you to do. This is the time of the request. I can send these kind of headers so that the server can understand. Server also sends a lot of headers in the response, with the response, for the client to understand. Exactly, header is just like meta information. That's it. Extra information related to request or response. That's it. Is that clear, everyone? Now, if you see this, I can show you. See, when we got the response, everyone see, when we got the response, we also got a lot of headers. You see that, everyone? We also got a lot of headers from in the response. Okay. See, some by default headers in the response. See, X powered by Express. Basically, this is sent by the Express. That means this API is powered by Express. What is the content type of the response? Application/JSON. It's a JSON data that I'm sending in the response, and UTF-8 encoding. Like the data is following UTF-8 encoding. What is the content length? 26. So these kind of headers are sent in the response, and we didn't create them. It was sent by the server by default, but we can also add new headers to them. Is that clear? So headers are a way of sending extra information from client to server or for server to client with the request or with the response. Okay, that's it. So now here we have to understand one thing. Now don't worry about the response headers. We got them by default. We didn't create them. But now there is a need of creating a header here. Now there is a need of creating a header. Okay, because now we are sending some data inside the body. We are trying to send some JSON content. So you have to mention one header now. So whenever you send some data from client to server, you have to send a header named content type. Okay, and inside the value simply specify I'm sending application slash JSON. That means I'm sending a simple JSON data. This is very important so that the server can understand that you're sending a JSON. Is that clear, everyone? So whenever you're sending JSON data, you have to mention this. Remember, guys, whenever you're sending a JSON data from client to server, you have to mention this header. So come in the header part and put it. Is that clear? When you're using Thunder client, don't worry. When we create front-end applications, there we have a different way of passing headers. Here you have to use inside the Thunder client. You simply come to the header section and do it. When we create a front-end application, we have a different way of sending headers, but we have to send this header. Okay. Now just go in body in your JSON area. Okay. So inside body, select JSON because we want to send JSON data, and inside here, create anything that you want. So let's say I'm sending a data, dummy data like name, Saurabh. Put enter, age 26. So basically, this is the data that I want to send. Okay, this is a JSON data that I want to send. So when I call this request, so now basically it's like this. Now we have all the things, right? We have the URL. I'm sending a post request. I'm sending this data in the post request, and I'm also sending this header because I'm sending data. So there will be no problems. Server will easily understand what kind of data I'm sending. That's it. The request part is done. Is that clear, everyone? Let's send it and let's see if we get any response. Send this request. Here we go. We get. That means the endpoint is still working. But now, the next part. The first part is done. We are able to send data from client to server. And there was no error. We still got this message of post working. We still got the response of post working. But now, how can we access that data in the server if I want to use it? How can I access that data in my server if I want to use that data? How can I access it? And for that, I told you, right? Whatever details come in the request, you can find it in the request object. Whatever details come with the request, you can find it in the request object. So whatever data I sent in the request is also available in the request object. We just have to understand how to use it, how to take it out. But before that, remember, guys, whatever data you're sending from the client to the server is not in a readable format. It's not coming in a readable format. It is not coming in a readable format. It's coming like an unreadable string. So what I want is, I want my Express API to convert any data that is unreadable to readable. So if any data is coming from the client to the server, before calling the endpoint, convert it into a readable data, convert into a object so that I can read it easily. So for that, what you have to do is you simply have to go and write app.use. You're telling your Express to use something called as express.json. It's a function. It's simply a function that you pass in the app. Okay, you're saying app, okay, Express app, please use this functionality. Okay, it's like a middleware. That means now this thing will be applied on all the requests coming from the client. So if I simply write app.use this functionality, don't worry, I'll tell you what this functionality is doing. But right now, think of it like this. App.use is just like a middleware. It's like, oh, fine. Before going to any endpoint, if any request comes, before going to any endpoint, I'll stop it and I'll apply this functionality on it, express.json. And after passing this, I'll send it to the proper endpoint. That means now, if someone calls this endpoint, okay, we're not directly going to come to this place. Let's say someone requests for this particular endpoint. We're not directly going to come here. First, we'll go to this place. Okay, request will go to this middleware app.use. Okay, express.json functionality will be applied on it. And what it is doing, it will simply go in the request, find any data that there is, convert it to a JavaScript object, and then it will be like given to this particular endpoint. And that's it. Done. That's why it's called a middleware. This app.use is called as a middleware. This express.json actually here, this functionality is a middleware. That means I'm sitting between the request and the API endpoint. I'm sitting between the request and the API endpoint. So whenever request comes, you're never directly going to go to the endpoint. You're never directly going to go to the functionality. I'm in between. Come to me. Now I'll stop you. I'll do my functionality. Currently, what is my functionality? Currently, I'll go in your data, convert it to JavaScript object, and then get you back to your endpoint where you want to go. Simple, just like a police in between that will do something. That's what a middleware is. This is called as a middleware, something that sits between the request and the endpoint. Is that clear, everyone? So this express.json is a functionality that converts unreadable data to a JavaScript object. So whatever data I'm sending from the front end, this will convert it to a JavaScript object. Is that cleared, everyone? Guys, please tell me, are we cleared? So you have applied a middleware. So let me just write applying middleware, convert, simply say unreadable data to JS object. Simple. Done. Okay, and now that's it. So app.use, that means Express app, please use this middleware. Please use this functionality in the middle. And now let's go here and let's try to see if we are getting our data. So simply say console.log. Now data comes in the request. So request dot, it comes in an object called body. So request dot body, this contains your, but we already mentioned application relation as content type. Yes, you have mentioned it. You have mentioned it, and that's how this thing will understand that I have to convert it into JSON. So don't worry about it. You have mentioned in the front end while sending it. Server will understand it, but not the endpoint. It's still unreadable. It's still coming in JSON. You want it as JS object, right? It's still coming in JSON. It's still coming as JSON. You need to convert into a JS object so that you can use it like a JS object. Is that clear, Samir Nail? It is coming as JSON, a JSON string. Okay. You cannot read it, like you can read it by your eyes, but you cannot read it using programs. You still have to convert it using some other ways. So this is the best way. Write it once and it will always work. Is that clear, Samir? There are also other ways of doing it, but this is the best way. Just write it on top. It will convert all the data that will come. So we are sending JSON, but we need JavaScript object here so that we can operate on it. We cannot operate on JSON, right? We need to convert it into JS object before operating it. Okay, so now I'm simply saying console.log request.body. So whatever data is coming from the front end, I'm simply printing it in the console. Let's see if it is working. Save it. Okay, open the terminal. We need it. Go here and let's send it again. And here we go. We got the response message post working. And in the console, you can see we got the data that we sent. Name Saurabh, age 26. And we got the post data. Now it's up to us, whatever we want to do with this data. We want to use it, we want to store it in database, we want to do like whatever we want to do, we can do. Is that clear, everyone? Right now we just printed it in the console, but we can do anything. We can store it, we can put it in database, we can do anything we want. And you can see we got it as JavaScript object. It's not a string, it's a JS object. Is that clear, everyone? So this thing in the middle is simply converting normal JSON to a JavaScript object. Is that clear, everyone? Guys, I hope we are really cleared with all the things. I hope we are really cleared with how to create endpoints, how to write URLs. And I really hope that you are understanding the basics of API. You're not learning Express. You're not only learning Node.js. You're not only learning Express. You're learning what is an API and how it works in general. So that you go anywhere in the world, you use any language, your basics are always strong. You know what is an API, you know what is an URL, you know what is a request. That's what my aim is here. My aim is not to teach you only Express. I want you guys to understand everything about an API. I got 400 bad requests. That means you have not sending a response, kind of, I think. Viraj, please send the response. Or after this console.log, please send the response. Or you might be creating a problem with the URL. Check that once. Okay. That is great. That is great. So these were the basics, guys. And that's it for today. Okay, we're going to stop for today because now we know at least what is Node.js and how to start building APIs. Okay, tomorrow we're going to see what is MongoDB, how to connect Node.js with MongoDB so that whatever data we are getting in the request, we can store it into the database. So tomorrow we first In the first half an hour, we're going to understand everything about MongoDB. Then we'll see how to connect Node.js to MongoDB in the next half an hour. And the last 1 hour, we're going to create our Pokemon API that you can use with any other software that any front end can in the world can use. Is that clear, everyone? Guys, are we clear? Please tell me. So in the first half, we'll learn MongoDB. In the second half, we'll see how to connect Node.js with MongoDB. And the last 1 hour, we'll create our project. Okay. And yes, guys, all this code that I did here and the assignment question will be uploaded on the group and it will be also mailed to you. Okay. So please, 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 at least register to the course and also, what do you say, join the group so that anywhere you can receive everything. So all these files and the assignment question will be there. Someone asking middleware. Okay, see, Debong Gamer, middleware is nothing but a functionality that sits between your request and the endpoint that you want to call. Like, see, if it is not there, if this thing is not there, whatever request you send will come directly to this endpoint. But basically, if you use this app.use and pass a functionality in this, that means now this functionality is sitting in between the request and your endpoint. This functionality is sitting between the request and your endpoint. And what this functionality is doing, this functionality is simply converting your normal JSON, your string JSON, to a JS object. Is that clear? So that's why we call it middleware, because it's in the middle, right? It's in the middle of the request and what do you call your endpoint. That's why we call it a middleware. That's it. Simple. Okay, so everyone, the group link and the registration link is going on in the chat. Everyone see, please register or either join the group so that you can get all these files and the assignment question. Okay, everyone, you can see in the chat. Guys, you can see it in the chat. The group link and the registration link is going on in the chat. Is that clear? Yes, Barleria, let's see, buddy. Let's see. If we get time, I'll also show you how to do authentication. So don't worry about it. Show me the body content. Here we go. This is the body. Okay, that body content. Here we go. It's in the request part. Body. Here we go. See? See, now that's what happens when you zoom it a lot. I have zoomed my VS Code so much that you cannot see everything completely. Okay, let me close the terminal. Here we go. See, this is the body content. Is that cleared? Everyone, you can see, right? The group link is going on in the chat. The group link is going on in the chat. Everyone, you can see it. You can see the moderator Jyotsna Dhiman is providing the group link in the chat. Everyone, you can see that, right? I hope. You can see the group link in the chat. It's provided by our mod Jyotsna. You can see it here with the blue name. You can see that, guys. Join the group and register for the course. All the things will be posted there. Okay, everyone. So I really, really hope that you enjoyed the session, guys. I really hope that you learned something new. Okay, and thank you so much for learning with me, and we'll meet you tomorrow again at 7 o'clock, and we'll create some really, really cool things. Okay, everyone. So that's it for today, everyone. Bye bye, everyone. Thank you so much. Bye bye.